Castaic, Saugus, Agua Dulce, how you doing? Canyon Country, Valverde, Valencia, you guys know where you're at. Stevenson Ranch and Acton, welcome in. Welcome in. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson. It is good to have you. Good to have you. You know, this is our third week back from our little summer hiatus, and I am so happy to be back. For those of you who don't listen every week, a little history of our show. You know, we've been on the air for several years now. Rebranded recently. Our show used to be called Our Way on the Highway, and we changed the name to Eye on the Valley. Gosh, what was it, Patty? Probably late 2019.
Yeah,
back
roughly.
in November, December.
I want to say like November, December or so.
Yep. So we switched. We changed names and we changed the focus a little bit. Changed it to Eye on the Valley. Doing kind of a hybrid show. The show is sponsored by SCVI Charter School, and so we spend a good part of the show talking about education and what's going on at SCVI and I lead schools, and the other part of the show we spend doing kind of what that pun says, keeping our eye on the valley. And I say pun because we are SCVI, we are iLead, we are a network of international charter schools, and so that I is for international as well. We like a good pun around here. Well, back when COVID really took hold of our country back in mid-March, at the request of, you, honestly, the listeners, there were folks that reached out and said, how do I do this homeschool thing? Well, we agreed with the station to come on every day. We started doing 2 hours a day rather than just 1 hour on Friday. And well, we found that format worked for us, and so we stuck with it. As I mentioned, we went on a little bit of a hiatus. You know, I'm a teacher, and teachers, boy, we take our summer breaks, don't we, Patty? So
Yep.
Took a little summer break and came back to just the Friday show. But like I said, that 2 hour format really worked, and so we stuck with it. So we're going to spend hour number one keeping that eye on the valley. Hour number two, taking a look at Santa Clarita Valley International Charter School and schools and what's going on. So that's what we're doing with our show, and it is so good to be back on a regular basis here. So I got a question for you. How are you guys doing? You know, it's been a beautiful week in the valley. It's been a little warm, but what do you expect? It's summertime, and you chose to live in the desert. But it had been cooling off nicely at night. Yeah, I've been sleeping with the windows open at night. It actually got down to the 50s a couple nights ago. It was nice and cool, and in the evenings, as it cools off like that, I like to relax and enjoy a glass of wine out there on the back patio. And I've been chatting with the neighbors as they stroll by with the dog, and just really unwinding. You know, I love the hot days, the cool nights, just another reason I love this town. But it's about to get a bit hotter. Tori just mentioned it. It's going to be in triple digits again today, and this weekend it's going to get up to about 112, 113. Boy, we are going to pay. But the good news is it's going to be a long weekend, perfect for the pool, maybe a trip to the beach, or maybe you stay inside and watch all these sports we've got going on. Man, everybody is either gearing up or really getting to it. The Lakers and the Clippers are in the playoffs. The Dodgers have the best record in baseball. Clayton Kershaw's breaking records and climbing lists and things like that. Football starts up, and Patty, less than a week. We got football coming back. So if you're a sports fan, you can just hang out, turn the AC on, and hope that Southern California Edison cooperates with us, and we can beat this heat wave. We're good. So, are you like me? Are you? Are you a chubby middle-aged man with a teaching credential and a radio? No, wait a minute. Let me try that again. Are you like me? Do you enjoy a glass of wine on a summer evening? Maybe even share a bottle with someone special on a Friday evening while you unwind from another week of distance learning and work and everything else that's been going on. Well, then we have got the perfect show for you today. We're going to be talking both of those things, wine and distance learning. We've got Robert Reyes here in studio this morning. We'll be talking with him in just a minute. He's the general manager of Reyes Winery right here in town. Wait a minute, what? We have a winery here in town? That's right, we do. And not just a wine room. You know, there's a difference. Reyes Winery vents ultra premium wines from their very own vineyard right here in town. I can't wait. We'll get to Robert in just a second. In hour number 2, we're going to be talking with our show's favorite educational expert, Renee Marshall. Renee is going to be coming in. We'll be checking in with her on the current status of schools, how distance learning's going, how kids and teachers and parents are doing, and she's got some great advice for us parents, for students as well. And if you're a teacher, you know, maybe getting your hometown station on in the background as you're doing your synchronous thing, or tuning in and cranking it up while your students are getting their asynchronous groove on. If you're a teacher, chances are you know Renee Marshall. You know, she's quite the teacher's teacher, so you know that she'll have some hot tips for you as well. So let's go ahead and do this. Like I said, my first guest is the general manager at Reyes Winery. Robert Reyes and his family planted their 16-acre vineyard here in Santa Clarita in 2004. They've been producing premium wines right here in the Santa Clarita Valley, out on Sierra Highway on the east side of town in Agua Dulce. There you're going to find their tasting room right alongside that beautiful vineyard. Robert, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course. So tell me, what inspired you and your family to decide to open a winery here in town?
Well, it's been a lifelong dream of mine to have a small vineyard, and the original idea was to just make wines for family and friends. And the land that I ended up purchasing out there turned out to be bigger than I originally thought I would want. But so that's what then moved us into a commercial winery, and we've been open since 2011.
Okay.
And our first wines were the 2009 vintage.
Okay.
And we've done really well. We have a number of medals and such over the years, so we're happy to be there and welcome people every weekend. Of course, right now with the COVID situation, then we have to have our tasting room closed actually for tastings.
Okay.
However, people can come in and pick up their wines. Club members are going to be picking up I'm sure over this weekend, they're going to be picking up a lot of wine.
Sure.
And of course, we have curbside service as well. If somebody calls in, they want to pick up their wine, we'll just take it out to their car if they're more comfortable that way. So we're doing that. And we're hoping to be open for tasting soon.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully we can get that wine room open for tastings. I know that's a great little escape. We drive the 2 or 3 miles up the road here and get in out of the heat and enjoy that. But like you said, you guys are able to take orders over the phone, or even folks can drive up even without calling ahead of time, and
that is correct,
and do a little bit of shopping. That's fantastic. So you planted your vineyard in 2004, but it takes some time for those grapes to grow and get stumped. The first vintage you said was 2009.
Well, actually, right.
Okay.
Our 2009 wines were the first ones to get bottled.
Right.
And we did produce a little bit in 2006 and 7 and 8, and those wines were stored away and later became our port wine, which we now have 12-year-old port.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Love a good
that's
port
an amazing wine, yes.
A dessert wine. It's a little sweet, a little heavier, something to digest your meal with.
Right.
That is perfect. Fantastic.
About 18% alcohol.
Okay.
Sweet, beautiful wine.
Fantastic. Oh, that sounds good. You know, you're wetting my whistle, and I want to thank you. You brought us in a bottle of wine. I was not expecting that. It's funny, Tori and I were joking about it. She says, he's not going to come in empty-handed, and I giggled a little bit, but you brought us both a bottle of wine. I've got a bottle of 2010 Merlot here, Patty. So I'm gonna leave that right here for our Facebook Live viewers to enjoy. You know, you mentioned, I want to talk about this crest. This is a beautiful crest that you've got here on the bottle. Is this crest on every bottle that you guys sell?
Pretty much, yes. That is the Reyes family crest.
Okay.
And it comes from the Canary Islands in Spain.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Right. So out there and then kind of in the middle of the Pacific.
Right.
It's not really off the coast of Spain. It is.
No,
way
it's
out
really
there.
off the coast of Africa. Yeah.
Yeah. And so tell me about that crest. It's the original Spanish crest, and judging just by the detail and the look, it's got to be 700-800 years old. But you yourself, Robert, had something to do with that crest. Can you tell us about that?
Well, actually, the paintings on the labels
Oh, I see.
of our bottles.
Okay.
Yeah, our estate wines have paintings, and I've created those paintings over the years. I've been painting for about 17 years now.
Okay, so when you told me that you painted that, I thought you meant that you kind of recreated and painted the crest. I'm looking at the label here. That's not a photograph.
No.
At first glance, I thought that was a photograph. That's a painting of your vineyards and your winery there.
Correct.
That is beautiful. Like I said, I thought you had done the crest and that was a photograph. That's a beautiful painting.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Some terrific wines and also some great showpieces, for folks to have around their dining room and have on display there. That is fantastic. I mentioned that you guys are up on Sierra Highway there in Agua Dulce. That area has been affected by some fires both late last year and then coming through fire season this year. Has that affected you guys much at all?
Not very much. We had several days of a lot of smoke there, but actually the fires were not as close to us. It was just the effect of the wind in that direction. But the closest one we had to us was probably, less than a mile to the north on the mountains, and that was put out quite effectively quickly, but the other fires along the 14th freeway, those affected us more because, again, of the smoke.
Sure, and the way Agua Dulce is situated, you've kind of got that hill as a buffer between you guys and the freeway. There's, if you're thinking about the 14 freeway heading up toward the Antelope Valley, off to the left is the town of Agua Dulce, kind of up there on the hill, and then you guys are on the other side on Sierra Highway.
On Sierra Highway, yes.
Yeah, just above Canyon Country there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's terrific because, gosh, that fire could be devastating to a place like yours.
Yes.
Wow. So I hear you guys are building another tasting room, or you're building a tasting room here in downtown Newhall. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That is correct. Right across the KHTS station right here.
Yeah.
And that project started construction back in April, and they're right on schedule. We have a great general contractor doing that. It's Intertext. It's a local company. I think they're the best.
They're doing everything around town, yeah.
They are fantastic. They're doing a good job and staying right on schedule. So we are anticipating that the core and shell of the building will be done by December. And then, of course, the tenant improvements will take probably until March of next year before we open. But
all right.
We're really excited to be on Main Street. This is the happening place.
Absolutely. Gosh, the city just and local merchants started revitalizing this place a few years back, and it is just a great place to hang out, and everybody's looking forward to once we can get back inside our dining rooms. I think your opening is going to be perfect timing. Once you'll be able to have folks in there doing a tasting, and then maybe wandering down to one of the restaurants that's going to be a couple doors down and having a nice dinner with a couple of bottles of your wine. That'd be great.
Right, and the building is a 3-story building, so the first floor is going to have a restaurant. The middle floor is
going to have a restaurant too. Oh,
well,
great.
I'm not sure whether it's going to be our restaurant or not, but it
there
will
be a restaurant of some sort. All right.
It will certainly be some kind of a joint venture to where. So let me say that the building is 3 stories. Middle floor is going to have some office space, which is available for a lease. And then the top floor is the floor for our tasting room.
Okay.
And it's a very large open area on the roof. So we have a tasting room and restrooms on the back end of the rooftop. And then the rest is open area. And
you're going to have a view of the entire valley.
Right. And so there are 2 elevators in the building. One that goes, the back elevator that goes directly to the kitchen so that we can get food service up on the top floor. So you mentioned being open, and I certainly hope that by March of next year, everything is going to be open and people are out
Sure.
and enjoying life again. But in any event, there will be enough open space where food can be served on the top floor with enough distancing and everything else. And also the first floor is going to have an open door opening to the sidewalk, which would be
patio
which
dining
will
on
contain,
those cool evenings that we talked
tables
about.
and
That's
chairs and
great.
such for so we thought in advance about that, and so we had to make a couple of modifications.
Okay.
But it's taking place and it's coming right along.
Sounds really well planned. Gosh, I can't wait. So does this doesn't constitute a move? You guys aren't moving from Agua Dulce?
No, we are not moving from Agua Dulce. The tasting room in Agua Dulce will remain open.
Okay.
And so this will be a second location for our tasting room.
Okay, fantastic.
Sure.
Kind of an extension of the winery there in
That
Agua
is
Dulce.
correct. Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Well, Robert, we do need to take a quick commercial break. It is Friday, y'all, and we're looking down the barrel of a hot 3-day weekend, and we're talking about maybe doing a little wine tasting or picking up a few bottles up there at Reyes Winery right here in Agua Dulce. We will be back with General Manager Robert Reyes after this. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Great news! Men Cryotherapy is reopening. As always, they continue to clean and sanitize all equipment. Social distancing will be enforced and hand sanitizer will be provided throughout the facility. Temperature checks will be done daily on each employee, and masks will be provided if forgotten. They have amazing welcome back specials, including the $99 Performance Package, which includes a cryo session, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which boosts recovery of damaged cells, the aromatherapy oxygen bar, Nucom, and infrared sauna. There's also a beauty package with a cryofacial, infrared sauna, and more. And don't forget their extensive selection of health and wellness products, including CBD. Men Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more information, go to MEND, M-E-N-D, cryotherapy.com. MEND Cryotherapy on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
Get your free thermostats from Pacific Air free.
Ned, what are you doing? You can't offer that.
Yes, I can. With every AC tune-up this month, Pacific Air will replace your mechanical thermostat with a digital one.
Free! Get in the truck, Ned.
Ned's right.
It's true.
Mark Schneider and daughter Kaylee for Pacific Air.
This month, call Pacific Air to schedule your WOW AC tune-up for just $77.
And we'll replace your old mechanical thermostat.
With a brand new programmable digital thermostat, absolutely free of charge.
And if you need a new heating and air system but money is tight, call today and ask about our buy now, pay later financing. We think you'll say,
Wow!
Call the guys in the orange truck. That's Pacific Air. On time, great care. When you want the best, call Pacific Air.
Details at packair.com. Remember, without the E, it's just air.
Sweet, salty, tastiest, bacon and pancakiest. Big yawns are okay, yummy syrups, yes way. Butter pecan, blueberry, old-fashioned strawberry. Never empty coffee pot. Mom says it hits the spot. Almonds are the fluffiest, Dad's hugs the scruffiest. Scrambled eggy, pepper shaky, orange juicy, wide awake, stuffed French toastiest. Waffles with the mustiest, buttermilky, smooth, the silky taste great. Love on a plate.
IHOP, everything you love about breakfast.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS, or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson, and you're wondering what in the world you're going to do for a 3-day weekend that's going to hit 112 degrees. Well, I tell you what you're going to do. You're going to wrap up today at work because it is Friday, and you know we still work on Fridays. But maybe you're going a little bit casual. You back the car in so you're ready to go, and as soon as you're ready, or gosh, maybe even on your lunch break, you're going to jump on ReyesWinery.com, or you're going to give Reyes Winery a call at 661-268-1856. 268-1856.
65.
1865. Thank you for that correction. I got a little transposition there. So let me try again. 661-268-1865. Alrighty, 1865. You're going to call Reyes Winery, and you're going to see what they've got on the shelves. And as Robert Reyes, their general manager, mentioned last break, they've got curbside delivery for you just to swing by and scoop some up there on Sierra Highway. Or they can come into the winery and enjoy the scenery a little bit, do a little bit of shopping there, and pick up a couple of bottles for their weekend enjoyment. Like I said, we've got Robert Reyes, general manager of Reyes Winery, in here, and he's telling us all about it. Robert, I'm sure you get this a lot, but when I think California wine country, me and I think most people think about Napa, Sonoma, maybe Paso Robles, or even Santa Barbara. What makes Agua Dulce so ideal for growing and venting wine?
We have our own appellation. It's a very small appellation there, meaning it's an viticultural area that was designated, and so what goes into that is a study of the soils and the winds and the weather, etc. So we have the right conditions for wine growing, and yes, it is dry in Agua Dulce, and we sometimes don't have enough water. However, that's what really makes these grapes, small berries, very intense flavors that produce the kind of premium wines that we do. So thankfully, we have all those things going for us in that area.
Okay, so it's not just about latitude. It's about the geological conditions and the meteorological conditions.
That is correct, yes.
And then the dry climate kind of gives you that unique flavor that comes off of that area.
That is correct, yes. That is correct. So that's why we've been able to accumulate over 200 medals on our wines, yeah.
Tell us about that. What are some of the awards that your wine has won?
Well, we have we have the whole range of medals. We go from some bronze to silver, gold, and even some double gold.
Wow.
Double gold means when there is judging taking place, and there may be 3 or 4 judges judging the same wine, and these are blind tests that they do.
Okay.
And so when the judges all agree that the wine is gold, then that makes it a double gold.
Okay, so
we have some of those. We have several of those. Yes.
Wow, that is fantastic. So let's talk about the different types of wines that you all vent. What are some of the types of wines that you are most proud of?
We actually grow Muscat, Chardonnay on the white wines, and then we have Merlot, which...
Yeah, we've got a bottle of Merlot right here. And again, can't thank you enough. Looking forward to that. Mr. Reyes brought in a bottle of wine for all of us. Patty's got his that he's taken home. I've got a bottle of 2010 Merlot right here. So you've got Muscat, Chardonnay, Merlot.
And Cabernet and Muscat and Syrah. And in fact, right now we're harvesting. We're harvesting today as we speak. We've been harvesting for the last few days.
So, it's funny. I would normally say take your cameras, but everybody takes their cameras now with their cell phone everywhere they go.
Right.
It's added bonus to the geological features that you were talking about that make the area perfect to grow your grapes. It's just beautiful scenery. You've got the rolling hills there, and
it sure is. It sure is beautiful. You have the mountains surrounding us, and especially at the end of the day, towards the evening, we're at the sunset, and you can see the reflection of the sun in those mountains and the tones and the colors, and it's a beautiful scenery there.
Oh, wow. And it does look like something
I can't wait until we're back open, fully open, you know, so that people can come in and just sit under the tent and watch the scenery, the mountains and the vineyard, and it's just beautiful.
It is, and it reminds me of kind of the Tuscan countryside there with the rolling hills and the grapes. Now, you've described kind of the perfect evening for me anyways, is, you know, just heading up to the winery, hanging out, enjoying a bottle of wine with friends as you sit outside and watch the sun go down. Do you guys do any other activities? Do you maybe, I don't know, do you serve sandwiches, or do you have different games and things like that going on at the winery?
We have several things. Every 3 months when we ship our wines to our members, either ship or people pick up, then we do cater in some food for our members. Additionally, when we were doing hikes regularly, which I led, we would do those once a month, and it would be, depending on the size of the group, but sometimes it could have been 10 or 12, and sometimes we had as many as 65 people on hikes. And so what we do is we go either on a 5, 6, or 7 mile hike, depending on the level of activity of each person. But so we split the groups, and so we do a lunch for those groups, and we have wine tasting, and we do a little tour of the facility. And it's a beautiful, enjoyable experience for most.
What a great afternoon.
Yeah.
Gosh, that sounds wonderful. Take a hike through the rolling hills there. Have lunch. Well, you do lunch first, then take the hike?
No. We do the
lunch
hike
afterwards?
earlier because usually it's cooler in the morning and easier for people to deal with the hills and so on. So we come back about 10:30, have a brunch and some wine, and then we do a little tour, and people go into the tasting room and choose their wines to go, etc. So,
and then just hang out.
Yeah,
as long as
it's
you'd like.
just a great event.
What a great experience! And
of course, we haven't had that since March.
Sure.
So
it's been a little while, and we're hoping, you know, we just got our beauty salons and our barber shops open back up, so hopefully you guys will be next, because I know
Hopefully
as you're
so.
describing that, people are thinking, gosh, that sounds like a beautiful weekend up the coast. Well, it doesn't have to be. It's 5 minutes up the road here, and you know, that could be just the perfect end to a Friday evening. Go up there, hang out, and taste a little bit of wine, or maybe, like you said, you take the entire morning on a Saturday and do a little morning hike, and
certainly hope to get back to that soon.
Can't wait. So I mentioned to you off the air, Beth Heiserman was in back in July, and she taught me kind of the 4 S's of tasting. You sniff deep, you swirl to aerate the wine, right?
Right.
And then you sniff again, and then you're ready to sip.
Right.
So is there, I'm kind of a casual guy, and I do beer tastings as well, and those you just pour a sip of beer in a shot glass and throw it back. Why do you think there's such a formality with wine tasting?
Well, because in every one of those things, there is something to be observed or perceived about the wine. When you swirl it, you see whether it taints the glass, the real color of the wine, you can see that. When you smell it, then you get the aroma of the wine, which could be congruent with the flavor. Sometimes it's different. So those are the little nuances that you get in that small ceremony.
Okay.
But it's useful for that reason, because you perceive all your flavor and your smells, your perfumes in the wine, aromas, and so that's why you go through that. And I would add to that a second sip.
There we go. There's 5 S's for it. Perfect. Yeah, so you kind of get all of your senses involved, and you get all the different flavors and aromas of the wine mixed in and going on there. Well, so we talked a little bit before about your art, your painting. It's amazing here on the label of the bottle. I know your paintings decorate your tasting room here in Agua Dulce as well. Was that a first career for you? Is this just a hobby? Because you're quite talented.
Even the wine business is a hobby. But, I've been in the construction and developing business for many years, and that's Yeah. So the wine business is really a hobby, and I love it, and I enjoy it every day, and wouldn't change it for the world.
Wow, you're quite the creator, a Renaissance man. You're
thank you.
A builder, venting wines, painting amazing paintings. This is absolutely fantastic. So, I mentioned it before. Folks can go on your website, and that's reyeswinery.com. For those of you that are on Facebook Live, you know our show is on Facebook Live here. Producer Luke has put your website there in the feed, so you can just go ahead and click on it right there. You've got, another piece of your gorgeous artwork up there is the thumbnail here on our Facebook Live feed. But folks can go on Reyes Winery, Reyes, reyeswinery.com, or they can call and make sure I get this one right again, 661-268-1865. 65. There we go. 1865. That's Civil War time, right?
That is correct.
All right, that's a good way to remember it. Is there any other way that folks can contact you, interact with you? You mentioned you have a wine club.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the wine club.
Sure. So every 3 months we ship 3 bottles of wine or more.
Okay.
And people can come in, pick up their wines. We choose the wines that we're going to ship, but members can always change it for whatever might be their preference.
Okay.
We choose those wines to add variety to whatever people will be tasting.
Mix it up a little bit. You're not going to send me 3 bottles of Chardonnay every month.
Correct.
Okay.
And so, in fact, I invite people to go on our store, on our website, and see the multitude of wines that we have accumulated and created over the years. So, again, the wine club membership includes discounts. Okay, when you first join, you get a larger discount, and you sign up to the wine club and get discounts every time you come. You can come in anytime and have free tastings for 2.
Oh, wow.
In addition to that, people can, for instance, go to Le Chien restaurant just down the street and get a 15% discount on a meal, and they can take a bottle of Reyes Winery to Le Chien and not pay a corking fee as well.
So you get 15% off your meal. You don't have to pay a corking fee.
Correct.
Wow.
Right. And so that's going to also be extended to the restaurant here on Main Street when it does open. And there will be some other benefits to the membership as well.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to that too.
Okay. So you select the 3 or more bottles of wine for me as a member, and then you said I can change those up. And I'm assuming that's, if I'm picking up at the winery. You mentioned you also you're available to ship those wines.
That is correct.
So,
we ship UPS as well, yes.
So do you send kind of the list of wines ahead of time? And
well, people can go, before we bill, we send all our members a notification, this is what we're sending, but you're always welcome to change it.
So you can swap it up.
So another one of the benefits to our members is sometimes we may get a special bottle or barrel of wine that we just do for our members, and that's an exclusive wine for members. And we do that once in a while. Sometimes there's a perfect barrel, or we may want to not filter it as much because we want to preserve those flavors, etc. Filtering does strip a little bit of the flavor in the wine, but so sometimes we do that for our members, and we let them know there's so many cases of this, and for our members only.
You got access to the special editions.
So little things like that we do for our members once in a while.
Gosh, I'm getting fired up about this. I know what I'm doing this weekend. So why don't you let us know the hours that you're open if folks are starting to make their weekend plans?
Yes, on weekends we're open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
11 to 5. And is that going to include Monday, the holiday?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So 11 to 5. Now, you said that you guys are actually harvesting your Syrah today.
That is correct. Yes,
so
we are harvesting.
Are folks able to head out there today if they want to maybe take a couple of pictures, kind of enjoy the whole experience?
They could, yeah.
Are you guys open till 5 o'clock this afternoon as
well? Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. So if you're looking to knock off early and grab a couple of bottles of wine, go up there and take some pictures of the folks picking the grapes and harvesting that Syrah, or maybe you're you're just making plans for Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, that's right. We've got a 3-day weekend coming. Make sure that you do swing by, though. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to this bottle here, but 3 days is a long weekend. I'm going to have to swing by and pick up a couple more.
That's
I
right.
have to swing by and pick up a couple more. And you can check it out if you are the type of person that plans your trip. Head on over to ReyesWinery.com, REYES, ReyesWinery.com, or you can give them a call at 661-268-1865. Or if you're more of a spur of the moment kind of person, just swing on up. They are right up Sierra Highway, like you mentioned, just past La Chene. You're off on the right hand side as
Just
we're heading
past
north there.
Canyon Road, yeah.
You'll notice that just as you come up over the hill, right when you gasp and say, wow, that's when it's time to pull over, because that's right where they're at. Alrighty, like I said, I've got my weekend plans getting set. Robert, I want to thank you so much for coming to the studio today. Good luck to you and to your family. Be well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but stick around. We will be right back. This is SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley. I am Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers and Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
Moms, dads, this is Cardin Ellis, owner of Unipest. If your house has ants, spiders, or gophers, or you want a free orange oil termite inspection, you have to call Unipest Termite and Pest Control, Santa Clarita's only factory-certified orange oil pest control company. We specialize in organic, low-impact, and traditional pest control options that are all kid-friendly, pet-friendly, and affordable with no contracts, and we're SCV owned and operated. Call us at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Goldhurst, Head of Operations for Burger King North America. Throughout this time, we've taken steps to take care of our guests.
And since we know many of your jobs have been affected by this crisis,
we want to help make sure you're taken care of too.
If you are looking for work, we are hiring.
And there's a spot on our team for you.
We know that we'll get through this together, as long as we keep taking care of each other.
For more information, call 253-3283. That's 253-3283.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLead Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLeadAguaDulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson with Eye on the Valley, SCVI Charter School's every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. radio show. So, it has been a couple of weeks now. How's distance learning going? Have you got the kids up and moving? Have you guys developed routines? Have you got your space? And, you know, it's been in all the periodicals, all the newspapers, and all the online forums. You got to get your space set up. Make sure your kids' space is set up, just like you've got your work from home space set up. Make sure that it's set up adequately, and you've got your schedule, whether the kids are online or offline. You got to stay on that schedule. But like I said, it's fortunately for me, my son just started college. He's a college freshman, so it's pretty much on him. This is time that he really starts to fly and does things independently. And I know you parents of kindergartners out there are kind of cursing me right now, because I know you're leaning over their shoulder every 30 seconds or so to make sure that they're staying on top of it. But no, I've done my time. Fortunately for me, I didn't do my kindergarten time during COVID. But so he's up and running on his own. The only thing I have to do is pay the tuition bill. But, at iLead Schools at SCVI, I support and serve about 350 teachers. I work in curriculum and instruction, and so we've got about 350 teachers network-wide. That's at SCVI and the rest of the iLead Schools. We call our teachers facilitators, because the way they do things is a little bit different than you're typically used to from a typical teacher. They are all credentialed and highly qualified educational experts, but the way they teach is different. But working with them, they struggle a bit with the whole Zoom camera thing. They've got their kids on Zoom, whether they're working with 5-year-olds or 15-year-olds. They're there, and they struggle with that. It's a thing, because it's hard teaching to a room of 15, 20, 25, 30 kids, and all the cameras are off. Right? And as teachers, as educators, as facilitators, we kind of are performing a little bit, even as we're facilitating classes and trying to keep kids involved. It can get exhausting, because when the kids are there but their cameras are off, you can't feel them. You don't get that feel of the room. You don't get that feedback. As educators, you make a joke from time to time. You don't necessarily hear that chuckle because the microphones are off, and you don't see the smile or the raise of the eyebrow. You don't get to see that light bulb go off. And so an effort to make sure that you're connecting, because that connection, when you're an educator, that connection with your student, with your learner, is so important. And so if you're not feeling that because you're not seeing your kids on the camera there, you tend to exert a bit more emphasis or emotion, and it can be exhausting. And I know, I'm not trying to have a pity party for teachers. I know how exhausting it is for parents. I know how exhausting it is for kids. But my point is this. It's a tough decision for kids, right? Because I'm not here to say, hey, everybody, make it easier on the teachers, turn your cameras on. Because, some kids are shy. They're a little bit more timid, and having that camera on, even though you're one of 25, 30 faces in the Zoom room, it can feel a little spotlighty, right? And other kids, they worry about what their classmates are doing. I know they're not supposed to. It's against the rules, but hey, think about your time in school. Did you follow all the rules? Patty, I know you did not.
I was a rule breaker. Yes, sir.
breaking the law. So, but some kids worry about other kids maybe sneaking a screenshot during or doing something with that picture that they've taken or something like that. And then there's this. Some kids are worried about this, and it happened to me just the other day. I was on a Zoom call with some colleagues, and I'm working with my learners. I was working with some of my facilitators, and one of them called me out and started making fun of the decor in my house, in the background there, and maybe making fun of the lack of decor a little bit, but think about it. When you're 10, 12, 15, 16 years old, and you turn on your camera, you're inviting your teacher and your entire class into your home. If you're set up in your bedroom, you're inviting them into your bedroom. And these are all of your classmates, not just your best friends that you trust and know care about you. So that can be intimidating. And then, of course, with my son, if he's deciding to turn the camera on, he never knows when Dad's going to be walking by, and who knows what he's going to be dressed like or what he's going to be doing. And I love looking at all the stories on social media. What did your parents do in the background today? That kind of thing can be difficult for a little one, for a preteen, for a teen to deal with. And so it leads to that decision. Turn on the Zoom camera, keep the Zoom camera off. And so I wanted to share these tips and guidelines with you just to maybe help you and your kids out as you're deciding. Because I know that some of your teachers are saying you class requirement, got to turn your camera on, and others maybe aren't requiring you to turn the camera on, but you feel like you maybe want to. So let me share a couple of things. I've got reasons to turn your camera on, reasons that you may want to keep your camera off, and then some things that you can do to make it a little bit less intimidating, okay? So first of all, here are some good reasons to have your camera on. First of all, your teacher may be a little bit more tuned into your learning needs, right? So think about it. When your camera's on and you get confused, you've got that little confused look on your face, your teacher will be able to dial in and maybe explain things a little bit differently. You know, we get that feedback and we realize, oh, the way I said that might have been confusing, even though, you know, my students weren't necessarily willing to raise their hands and say, wait a minute, I'm confused, right? So that little furrow in the brow might tell your teacher that they need to explain a little bit different. Another reason to turn your camera on is because it's easier for others to hear you when you speak. And you may say, Matt, that's dumb. They can't hear me better when my camera's on. But remember, we hear with more than just our ears, right? They say that only 10% of all communication is verbal, right? We communicate with body language, with facial expressions and gestures, and think about it. If you're behind the camera, you're not wearing that mask like I'm wearing right now. So it's easier for people to hear, to understand, to get what you're going for. You know, think about when you say something maybe a little bit questioning, right? The Civil War ended at 1865. Okay, maybe that didn't come across perfectly on the radio, but if you can see my face, you know, you can tell I'm not so sure about that, right? Or maybe you're saying it sarcastically, or, you know, so it's easier for people to quote unquote hear you when your camera's on. Also, seeing each other, seeing your classmates makes you feel a little bit more connected. You know, I was talking to a student, a high school junior the other day, and she was saying, you know, my teacher, she was really stern, and she said, I want you to have your cameras on. She says, you know, I wasn't really excited about it, but, you know, we really like this teacher, so we all turned our cameras on. And, you know, I haven't seen my classmates in so long. And I really was glad we had our cameras on, and we all really connected a little bit better. Okay, and it also, the camera makes it a little bit easier to participate in some activities, right? But I'm not here to tell you, all right, camera's on all the time, because there are some reasons you may want to keep your camera off. You know, I do have a friend who said his son is in college and he's doing everything remotely, and he's got, in one of his classes, he's got over 100 students in class, and with everybody's camera on, it can really start to cut into the internet bandwidth, and it can start to cause issues. And so there were some of his professors in the larger classes that were saying, all right, everybody, cameras off, so that you can all participate in the lecture a little bit more fluidly, right? Maybe you're not feeling camera ready. Maybe it's the first class of the day. Maybe you haven't hit the showers yet. Maybe you know, you're just not ready to be seen right now. And so keeping your camera off is a good thing to do. Another reason you might want to keep your camera off is maybe you don't have private space, right? Maybe you've got a little brother or sister running around, dogs running around in the background, or you know, your dad doing whatever he's doing. So you might want to keep your camera off for that reason. Or maybe you want to, as I mentioned, protect your online identity and privacy. And, you know, maybe you've been on camera all day and you've got that Zoom-exhaustion. Zoom-exhaustion, is that a word? You're exhausted. You're just, your camera exhausted. You may want to leave it off. And here's some things that you can do as well to help mitigate. What I started doing, you know, when my friend poked a little fun at me for my lack of decor in the background, I just clicked on that Zoom background. Now it looks like I'm in the Dodger Stadium Club Suites. So you can click on a Zoom background perhaps, or maybe use an avatar or a Bitmoji or a selfie, and when you're not on camera, you leave that avatar up there. maybe you can find a better location in the house, somewhere that's a little bit more private, that maybe you don't have so much going on in the background or something like that. Make sure that you and your classmates make those agreements and stick to those agreements. No screenshots, and no posting photos of my peers. And maybe you switch between camera on and camera off during the session as needed. You can turn it on when it's time to participate. When it's more individual time, you can turn it off. But make sure that you're making decisions that support your learning best. Make sure that your children are making decisions that support their learning best, okay? Camera on, camera off. It can be helpful, but it also can be intimidating. Make the right decisions for you and for your children, all right? Well, it is time for us to check local and national news stories and the latest updates, but stick around. When we come back, we're going to be talking to our show's favorite educational expert, Renee Marshall. She's got a lot more advice than I do on distance learning, insight, support, no matter who you are. So we will be right back with her. I am Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Including diagnostic tests, new technology hearing aids, cochlear implants, hearing protection, and tinnitus treatment. They can adjust your current hearing aids or fit you for new ones. Santa Clarita Hearing Center also offers sleep molds, swim molds, and musician monitors. Book an appointment today. Log on to SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com. Located on McBean Parkway next to the hospital. That's SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need. And when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence, your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what's best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or visit resurgenceit.com.
If your home or business has been damaged in a natural disaster, fire, earthquake, or wind damage, turn to the experts who will fight for you, Maximum Insurance Recovery. For over 15 years, their insurance professionals have managed and negotiated every disaster claim, resulting in maximum recovery. Let them help you with your claim. Call 818-300-5777 or go online to maxinsurancrecovery.com. That's maxinsurancrecovery.com.
Hi, this is Bob Schertz with the Way Out Recovery SCV, reminding you that during these unprecedented times, addiction and mental health do not take a break. If you or someone you love are struggling, please give us a call at 661-296-4444. We are open and here to help you during this time. Thanks.
I promise I'll get help. It wasn't my intention. I'm sorry to myself.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
A blanket denial from the commander-in-chief. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump and his administration firing
this
back
is Fox
at a
News Radio
published
in New York,
report
now
in the
feeding out
Atlantic,
on your unanchored channel, feed out of the White House. The president meeting with the leaders of Serbia and Kosovo.
The president on Fox
that is now
News
once again on your unanchored channel,
in a
Fox
just
News Radio New
published
York.
article that he called fallen soldiers losers and suckers and asked for wounded veterans to be excluded from military parades.
I've been with this president now for coming on 4 years. I've never heard the president use the language that assertedly is said in that article about him calling the military suckers and losers. I've never seen that in Gene. Just the contrary. He has always had the deepest respect.
The chair of the DNC putting out a statement saying if these reports are true, they represent yet another betrayal of our troops by Donald Trump. In Washington, John Decker, Fox News.
Well, at this hour, the president is hosting 2 world leaders and making announcements on Mideast peace. Serbia says it will move its Israeli embassy to Jerusalem, and Kosovo will recognize Israel as part of U.S. brokered talks. Earlier, the president hailing the latest jobs report as great numbers. Nearly 1.4 million jobs created in August, though that's less than the previous 2 months of pandemic recovery. Vice President Mike Pence telling Fox Business,
"We need 4 more years of the kind of policies that laid a foundation for this V-shaped recovery that's happening all across America.
Joe Biden argues the pandemic and its economic effects were worse because of the president's handling of it. He will focus on his economic plan in an event close to home scheduled to begin shortly. Wall Street's in another deep sell-off despite the positive jobs report. The Dow's down over 400 points, back under 28K. The NASDAQ dropping under 11K, then climbing back over it after hitting 12,000 for the first time this week. Right now, the NASDAQ's down 259. America is listening to Fox News.
This is a special end-of-summer announcement from Dell. At our Labor Day sale, small businesses can save up to 50% on select business computers with Intel Core processors. We're committed to taking your business to the next level. Give our small business technology advisors a call. They'll identify the right tech solution for your business with Labor Day savings. Visit Dell.com/business deals or call us at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
So who is your wireless provider? AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile? The average person is saving $400 a year by switching to Pure Talk USA. Pure Talk is on the same network, same towers, just 50% off in terms of price. Right now, get unlimited talk, text, and 2 gigs of data for just $20 a month. Switch to Pure Talk today. Now, from your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Pure Radio. That's pound 250, Pure Radio. Pure Talk USA, simply smarter wireless.
2 Missouri men face federal charges stemming from unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Federal prosecutors in Wisconsin say Michael Carmo and Cody Smith were arrested on Tuesday at a hotel near Kenosha. Kenosha police told the FBI that law enforcement officials in Iowa had gotten a tip about the men, that they were armed and traveling to Kenosha. They are charged with illegal possession of firearms after being caught with a large stash of weapons that included an AR-15, a shotgun, a handgun, a dagger, body armor, a drone, and a saw. The men, who are Blue Lives Matter supporters, had prior convictions that prohibit them from possessing firearms and ammo.
Fox's Tony J. Powers. Reports of at least 2 arrests made after a shooting last night in Cleveland that left 2 people dead, including a police officer working undercover who had been sworn in the day before to be part of the federal anti-crime initiative known as Operation Legend. 53-year-old detective James Skernivitz was a 25-year veteran of the Cleveland police force. The manhunt continues for a 3rd suspect. One college frat house will be shuttered for years for violating COVID-19 rules.
Furman University in South Carolina is suspending the local chapter of Kappa Alpha after learning it hosted parties that led to the spread of coronavirus. That suspension will last for 4 years at least, according to university officials. At least 29 students who attended those parties tested positive for the virus. Those individuals were made to quarantine. At Indiana University in Bloomington, the school is shutting down all of its 40 fraternities and sororities after seeing infection rates among them greater than 50%. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The head of the World Health Organization is warning against what he calls vaccine nationalism, saying it'll prolong the coronavirus pandemic. This after the U.S. refused to join a global vaccine initiative because of WHO involvement. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The latest report from the Labor Department is stronger than expected. U.S. employers added 1.4 million new jobs in August, and the unemployment rate fell to 8.4%. Job growth has moderated since June, when there were 4.8 million new jobs created. Virgin Atlantic, founded by British businessman Richard Branson, is planning more than 1,100 more job cuts because of a slow recovery in demand. It has completed a restructuring deal to see it through the pandemic after filing for bankruptcy reorganization in the U.S. And Virgin Australia is being sold to U.S. investment firm Bain Capital. It also had filed for bankruptcy reorganization. Under Armour says it'll close all its stores and Factory House retail locations on Thanksgiving. They'll reopen on Black Friday. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Customers, students, and staff expect a new level of clean. Cintas has the essential products and services to help you carry out cleaning protocols effectively. Cintas performs surface sanitizer and disinfectant spray services to common touch points. installs and refills touchless hand sanitizer dispensers, and provides commercial laundry services to help minimize employee exposure. Give everyone the confidence they need to keep coming back. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260 CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Hi, I'm Eric Goldhurst, Head of Operations for Burger King North America. Throughout this time, we've taken steps to take care of our guests.
And since we know many of your jobs have been affected by this crisis,
we want to help make sure you're taken care of too.
If you are looking for work, we are hiring.
And there's a spot on our team for you.
We know that we'll get through this together, as long as we keep taking care of each other.
For more information, call 253-3283. That's 253-3283.
You see so much when you look at your child. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. Curiosity that develops into exploring unique passions. A little leader growing every day to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make their mark on the world. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free K-12 charter school gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a customized learning program built around each individual student. As iLead's founding school, SCVI combines an immersive approach to traditional subject learning with extracurricular activities, including STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. SCVI has the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, with a 10-year proven track record of graduates excelling at top universities. And we're in your backyard, just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley in Castaic. For enrollment information or to learn more about our program, including homeschool options, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. It is going to be a rough 5 days ahead of us with an excessive heat warning. Temperatures well into the triple digits. Today, a high of 105. Tomorrow, they're looking at 114. And on Sunday, a high of 116. Please make sure the pets are inside. Watch out for the kids and our seniors. Make sure you hydrate. And for anything and everything Santa Clarita Valley related, go to hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. I am Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley. My next guest is Renee Marshall, educational expert, consultant, and community leader. Now, Renee is one of my only guests who also actively monitors the Facebook Live feed while she's actually on the show. And so I'll try to keep up as well. And producer Luke is out there and he's on top of things. So we're going to be talking about some things that you may be experiencing. So if you're on that Facebook Live feed, feel free to drop some questions, comments, tidbits on your own experience. If you're not on the Facebook Live feed, well, why not? If you've got a computer around or you've got your phone, why don't you head on over to Facebook and go to Hometown Station. Just search for KHTS in the search bar there on Facebook, and you'll see our kind of salmon-colored background there, and you pull us up, and like I said, you can drop your questions, your comments, your tidbits of your own experience here for Renee, and she and I will be keeping an eye on those as we go through these next couple of breaks here. Renee Marshall has quickly become renowned across the state of California for her deep understanding of a myriad of educational topics. She received her bachelor's in psychology and her master's degree in elementary education and teaching from UC Santa Cruz. She's a banana slug. She earned an additional master's in educational leadership and administration from CSUN. Renee's been recognized with an Outstanding Educator Award, the PTA Golden Apple Service Award, the Santa Clarita Valley Mother's Mothers of Multiples Heart Award as one of Santa Clarita Valley's 40 under 40. So she received that noble distinction here in our valley. She's also been honored as Castaic Middle School's Teacher of the Month. She has received a PTA Service Award and was named Castaic Union School District's Teacher of the Month. She's also worked with the Santa Clarita Valley Education Foundation, California Community College Teacher Preparation Programs, and locally here at College of the Canyons. Renee, welcome back to the show. We appreciate you coming on.
Good morning, Matt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, but Renee, you chose the wrong day to stay home and call into the studio because our last guest, Robert Reyes, he brought in bottles of wine for everybody.
Oh, I even thought about maybe I should go in, but I have another meeting kind of close time-wise after we're off today. Oh, okay, next time, Matt, come in for some of that wine.
All righty, I'll let you know when he's coming on again.
Wonderful winery. I'm glad he was on today.
Yeah, he was a great guest, a great winery. I'm looking forward to popping this open. So, Renee, I've been keeping my eye on you, and you were busy this summer. You didn't just go off on vacation and kick your feet up and sit by the pool. You were busy, weren't you? You recently spearheaded a program called Peace Bags. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What are Peace Bags, and what did you do with them?
Well, I have to say, too, Peace Bags actually started with a friend of mine who's in Northern California who is part of a group called Peace Town. And I'm calling her a friend now. Her name is Elizabeth because through this process, I've had the chance to get to know her. She came up with a beautiful idea to bring joy to the children and teenagers in her community, but in a way where she was also going to encourage community engagement. And so just by chance, I saw what she was doing, and I thought, how do we bring that to Santa Clarita? So I contacted some of my friends at Boys and Girls Club, Love SCV, the JCs, kind of the usual people who are movers and shakers in our town,
sure,
and who are always willing to, do extra to make our town better. And so it was really great. For 3 weeks during August and September, just August, each week we gave out 300 different peace bags, and in each bag there was a variety of activities to help the kids feel good, basically social emotional based activities, but also activities that would encourage them to engage with the community. And in each bag we also provided an activity page that actually gave them suggestions and pictures for what they could do with the supplies that we gave them.
So what kind of supplies? What can you get a little bit more specific? What if I received a peace bag? What would I get there?
Well, depending on the week that you came, Matt, it could be you could have gotten a bag that had all the supplies to make painted rocks. Like, for instance, Stay Green donated 1,500 huge, fantastic rocks, and then we collected 900 bottles of paint, and we gave every child 4 to 5 of these huge rocks plus 3 bottles of paint and paintbrushes. We gave them bubbles. We did bookmark making supplies, chalk. We had some special things too. In addition to handing out the peace bags, each week we had different kind of supplemental things that we gave out to the kids. So over the course of the 3 weeks, we gave out over 1,500 brand new books to the children. We gave out back to school supplies for 300 kids. On the first day, we were sponsored by Panda Express, and Panda Express brought in food for 250 children. Plus, Panda Express actually purchased over 1,000 books for us to donate during the course of Peace Bags.
That is beautiful, and I love the artistic connection. This is such a tough time for all of us, but it's a tough time for kids, and they don't always know how to express what they're going through. But the arts is such an amazing way to express what's going on inside of you. And so I love that artistic connection, and then the connection to doing something for the community. Renee, you've lived here for quite a while. You know how important giving back is to the Santa Clarita community, and so that's awesome that you're not only helping kids to take care of themselves and get engaged with some things, but also engage the community. That is beautiful. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much. It was so awesome to be part of it, and we had so many people that donate. I mean, it was 100% grassroots. It was like me walking into Dollar Tree in Castaic going, "Hey, Manager Amber, can you donate?" And I mean, we were just asking. At one point, we ran out of money, so I put it up on Facebook. "Hey, you guys, we need $300." And I'm not even lying. Within 20 minutes, I had $170 donated.
Wow.
I mean, it was like everybody chipped in. And I think because it comes down to kids are struggling right now. Our teenagers are struggling. We're in a whole different world. And so how do we help them to feel whole? How do we help them to feel okay? Maybe they're not going to feel fantastic. How do we help them to feel okay with the way things are right now? And then also in a time where some people feel disconnected, what can we do to help them connect? And so that was why we did the activity pages, because we didn't want them to just get the stuff and not know what to do with it. We wanted them to understand that when you get a couple jars of Play-Doh and you're playing with the Play-Doh, it actually is a stress reducer. It's actually a way that you can calm yourself. It's gonna help produce the serotonin and the different kinds of chemicals you need in your brain to make you feel better. And so we tried to really be intentional with what we brought to Santa Clarita, but the absolute intention was to bring joy and to bring community engagement. And as I mentioned, we had so many groups, Boys and Girls Club, we had the mall help out, Westfield helped out, Santa Clarita Ed Foundation helped out. I mean, there was just a list of people and groups that came together to make it happen.
Ah, that is so beautiful. I love that. Now,
Matt, I should chime in and say also iLead donated as well. Of course, I can't believe I didn't say that, but iLead was one of the first groups that right away was like, Renee, what do you need? And when we did our back to school supplies, they gave some really fun things for the children to have. And I love promotional materials, and when somebody gets good promotional materials, it's even better. So it was really fantastic. iLead's always a partner, and I'm grateful for everything that you guys do.
Of course, we're glad to chip in. You know, we've got to take care of our kids in the classroom and out. You know, speaking of the classroom, you and I talked several times back in the spring about what this semester might look like. Are we going back? Are we not going to go back? Is it going to be safe? Is it not going to be safe? What's it going to look like? And so now here we are, right? So pretty much all of our schools are working kind of in the same model. Everybody's got their own little take on it, but distance learning seems to be the thing. You know, everyone's doing distance learning, but of course with their eye on trying to get kids back on campus as soon as possible. So as you look at how things are going over these first couple of weeks, how do you feel the current model is working for kids? Are they learning? Are they getting what they need socially? Are they feeling okay? As far as the status of schools right now, how do you feel we're doing, Renee?
You know, I think right now we need to be thinking about progress, not perfection. Mm-hmm. That is a mantra that I hold that very close to me, because we are absolutely making progress. In spring, we were in crisis learning, because that was what happens when a whole system gets flipped over literally overnight. Right now, we're in intentional learning, but we also have to remember that we have technology as an element that we haven't had to this extent before. So there's bandwidth, there's issues with logging in sometimes, there's issues for teachers sometimes. And I think it's really imperative that we're all modeling what it's like to be kind and what it's like to show grace right now, especially for our children. Don't get me wrong, there are things that have happened with school where I get all riled up and then I'm just like, I need to step back and take a breath, because the last thing my children need is a mother that's out of control and that's angry about school. They need me to be positive, because my how I react and the things I say will directly impact them. So in terms of, is everybody getting exactly what they need? I'm going to throw something back at you. Last February, before the pandemic, was every child getting what they needed? You know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
Here's what it is. I think that everybody's doing the best they can right now. I think we are seeing significant improvement in terms of everybody's learning curve for what distance learning looks like. There's so many resources that are online right now, and I've been part of 2 different teams this summer that have been building resources for future teachers in early childhood and in education. So there have been people that have been working 24/7 to really try to bring resources, opportunities, and new ways of learning. And so is it perfect? No. Education will never be perfect, though. So keep that mantra in your head. If you're a parent listening right now, just be thinking to yourself, progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. And any day where your anxiety is creeping up as the adult in the room, you got to step back, take a breath, and think about our children first. They don't need us anxious. They need us calm. They need us grounded. That's how we're all going to get through this successfully.
Absolutely. And I know that parents have got a lot going on, right? They're worried about their health and their kids' health and the education. They're worried about making ends meet. You know, folks have lost jobs and things like that. But you're right. Those are back office kind of concerns, right? If you're worried about not making this month's rent, that's something for you and your significant other to deal with. But once you come out and you're with the kids, that's not their worry. Don't bring them into that storm. So yeah, your job is to be their calm, even when you're not feeling it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Last night I had this really bad migraine, and I just was like, I have to stop and go to bed. And my whole family was absolutely. And then I woke up this morning and I'm a different person. So when you find yourself in a space that's not good, or you find yourself in a storm, like you just said, you got to find a way to either kind of clean yourself up and poker face it, or if you're at a point where I had a migraine, you just have to get some support and step away, you know? And so it's really important that we have connectivity right now, you know? One thing that you had asked too that I haven't spoken about is, are children getting what they need socially?
Yes.
And I am a total social butterfly, so I can tell you for a fact I'm not getting what I need socially. So I imagine the kids are struggling right now. I have my twins are 13 years old. They just started high school a few weeks ago. They just started college at COC 2 weeks ago. We've had two different experiences. I have one child who is happily trying to engage with friends consistently, going on FaceTime, calling people, doing everything they can to stay connected. And then I have another child, Matt, who literally, if it was up to him, he would probably be staying home for the last 3 months without any engagement at all, which I know is not healthy. So we literally have a FaceTime schedule. During the school week, I'll say, hey, did you call so-and-so? If normally we used to not do much, this is going to sound ironic, we used to not do much technology during the school week in terms of like gaming and stuff like that.
Yep.
But that's been a new thing. Like one of my son's best friends yesterday, his mom texted me and said, hey, any chance your son could get on in 30 minutes on Switch and game with my son? I was like, absolutely. And not that I want to be promoting that 24/7, but right now, gaming is a way to connect and to feel like you're talking to other people. So we got to keep FaceTiming. We got to keep calling people. If you're in a position where you can stand outside of somebody's house and talk to them while being socially distant, that's great. If you've got a big backyard and you've got some space where you can have one or two people far apart but still together, you know, we have to really be looking at different models of how do we socialize, and then also like scheduling socialization and having that be part of something we do. You know, we take a shower, we brush our teeth. Who'd you call today? Who'd you talk to today?
Yeah.
Because if you haven't talked to somebody, that's more important than brushing your teeth before going to bed tonight.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, I had a friend who celebrated a birthday just a couple days ago, and so a few of us jumped on a Zoom call and made sure that we all shared a glass of wine. And when I hung up, before I got on, I thought, okay, I really would rather just kick my feet up and just kind of zone out for a little bit and relax. But, you know, got on, you know, to honor my friend for her birthday, and once we got off, about 45 minutes later, I felt so much better. I felt connected. I'd seen people I hadn't seen in a couple of months. It was great.
I totally agree, Matt. I do a happy hour about once a month with my colleagues, and we let a little bit too much time slip recently, and so we had one a couple weeks ago, and it was like nobody wanted to get off the phone. We all thought we were going to be on for an hour, and then like I think it ended up going like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it was just a matter of it was so great to see each other, you know, and to just be together and also we're all colleagues, so to be after 5 o'clock where we could just be who we are and not our work personas, you know? And so it's so healthy but it's at the same time, we've got to force ourselves to do it because there are times where I just want to kick back too. And so when our kids are saying they want to kick back every day, as the adult, we need to step in and say, no, we're going to call grandma today, or let's call your cousin, or let's call your friend, or, you know, we have to help make those connections for our kids.
Certainly, it's important to keep balance. We need to take care of ourselves emotionally, socially. We need to make sure that our kids are taking care of themselves so that everybody can continue to move forward. And, you know, maybe they don't learn their times tables as early on in the third grade this year, or you know, maybe they don't learn to write cursive as quickly as you would like them, but they're making progress. They're staying healthy. Like you said, what did you say? Progress, not perfection?
Progress, not perfection.
Perfect.
And plus, what else are they learning? Did they learn how to cook for the first time? Did they learn how to write a letter? Have they watched their dad write out checks when they have bills? Have they learned other life skills that we sometimes don't always have the time for? So it's kind of like there might be some give and take. Sure. I understand when parents are concerned that there's going to be an academic gap. I get that. And especially for our children with special needs, there's a higher concern with that population. But for many, many people, many of our kids and teens, they're going to be just fine academically, even if there are some gaps this year. Because here's the beauty. The gaps are not just for your child. They're across the state, and in a sense, there's going to be some gaps even across our nation. So that's okay, because it's an opportunity to learn some new things and to maybe slow down a little bit. I think slowing down is also kind of one of those silver linings that's come out of this pandemic.
Yeah, I heard a parent mention a while back, I'm just so worried that during this pandemic, my kid's going to fall behind. And the teacher that they were talking to answered, fall behind who? It's not like the rest of the country is moving forward without your kid, and you're right. So maybe they are learning to make homemade bread. Maybe they're learning to problem solve in a new area that they've never experienced before. Maybe they're learning to more deeply connect with people. Maybe they're learning a little bit of coding because that's what's required in order for them to post the work that they have to do for their class. There's so much that kids are learning now that maybe we just see as a problem and inconvenience, but we just shift our mind a little bit and we'll realize how much our kids are really learning and growing. We're talking with Renee Marshall this morning. She's sharing her educational expertise as a consultant, a teacher, and a mom. And we've got to take a quick break and take care of a little bit of business, but we'll continue when we get back. You're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
Hi, this is Bob Sheritz with the Way Out Recovery SCV, reminding you that during these unprecedented times, addiction and mental health do not take a break. If you or someone you love are struggling, please give us a call at 661-296-4444. We are open and here to help you during this time. Thanks.
I promise I'll get help. It wasn't my intention. I'm sorry to myself.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. We are joined this morning by educational expert Renee Marshall. Renee, as always, we appreciate you joining us. Now, I understand that in addition to the peace bags that you were handing out over those few weeks, this summer you also partnered with the city of Santa Clarita. You've done so over the course of several years on many events, but a week or so ago you hosted a workshop called Strategies for Successful Distance Learning. Am I right? What sort of tips did you have for families who are starting the school year out with distance learning?
About on that workshop is something really simple, but letting children and teens personalize their space. So maybe you have a second grader who's set up kind of in the corner of a dining room table, or maybe you have a eighth grader who's got a new desk in their room and now they've got their Chromebook and they're working inside their bedroom. Let them own that space. If you've got a kid who's into the DIY stuff, the do-it-yourself kind of stuff, they could take toilet paper rolls and cover them and decorate them and turn them into pencil holders. We want to have their names up in their space. We want to have their space to be clean and organized wise, you want to have a schedule up. You want to have maybe a clock or something that's going to indicate when it's time that they're switching from whatever they're doing to the next thing. Another thing that's really important too, Matt, is one of the things we're starting to see is we're starting to get children and teens having more headaches. And so with the headaches, we need to check their environment. For instance, look and see where they're doing their work with their Chromebook. Is their Chromebook sitting, or Chromebook or laptop, whatever device they're using, is it sitting on a table and they're looking down for 6 hours? Because that's going to produce issues with their neck. That's going to produce headache issues. One of the simplest things we can do is take what we're working on and lift it with a couple reams of copy paper, or, you know, a little box or something. So that way, instead of looking down so much, we're actually looking straighter at our computer. And it's really important for children. Another thing, too, if you notice your teenagers or your children are getting those headaches and they've got, you know, their Chromebooks at a good level, maybe you see them squinting at the screen, I highly, highly suggest getting some of the blue light glasses that are available. Just last week, we ordered 2 pairs on Amazon for under $15. They were here in 24 hours. My children, my teenagers wear them the entire day now while they are on the computer. And especially for one of my children was having many issues with headaches. The issues with headaches have literally disappeared. And so that's something to keep in mind. One other item, too, and depending on the age of your child, you might have a child who can't stay still on their seat. I've been a preschool teacher. I've also taught kindergarten. Developmentally, 4- and 5-year-old bodies are not meant to be sitting on a seat for long periods of time. And so there's a couple things you can do. There's something called bendy bands that literally are these big rubber bands that attach to the bottom of the child or teenager's chair. And it would allow your child to stay seated and look like they're not moving at all from their torso up, but their legs are able to bounce the whole time that they're in class. And so they're able to move without looking like they're moving or distracting the rest of the class. There's also something called a wiggle cushion, and these are like $15, $20 items. These are not, $50, $80 items.
Great.
A wiggle cushion or a wiggle seat, you literally put it on the chair, and the child can just move back and forth just a little bit, but just enough to kind of give them that break and that ability to move. The other most important thing, honestly, Matt, is making sure that your children and teens are taking breaks. Anytime, like you've got to know their schedule, and that can be hard when you're working. Don't get me wrong. I know I used to start work at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., and now I don't start till 8:30 because that's when my kids start.
Right.
So, but anytime you have a chance, if your child has enough time to go outside, that's the ideal place to take a break. Go get some air, pick some flowers, walk around in your front yard, walk up and down the street. Even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes, that's very healthy to do. If there isn't enough time to go outside, though, you can be moving and engaging and, doing exercise and getting yourself kind of giving your brain a break while you're inside the house, too. That's an important thing. One last thing before we go on to a little bit more. One thing I want to share, though, when you're talking about distance learning, the strategies change slightly depending on what age you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if I'm working with an elementary school child, Matt, the last thing I want is for them to be sitting in their bedroom with a Chromebook, with headphones on, with the door closed. Because developmentally, that's not where a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old, they're not going to have necessarily that intrinsic motivation to do everything they need to do. I don't know about you, but my room's distracting. There's stuff I want to play with and stuff I want to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're talking young kids. For younger children, honestly, anything up until elementary, up until probably 6th grade, I'd have them sitting at a kitchen table, or I'd put a desk in a shared space, maybe at the dining room table, but give them some space, but keep them where you're going to be. So, that way you can check in periodically. Now, for those who have junior high and high school kids, those are the ages where most of those children can be in their own bedroom with ideally a door open, they're on headphones, they're working at their Chromebook. You pop in and out to see how they're doing. Like, I know today my daughter she has 2 periods that are off today. So during those times, I'm making sure that she's not sitting in front of her computer.
Okay.
If you've got a break, we've got to make sure our teens take it, because one of the things I'm seeing, not just with our teenagers, but with us, our schedules and time are blending.
Yes.
It's no longer like an 8 to 3 schedule or an 8 to 5 work schedule. And so we need to find a way, and this is also for teachers too, big time.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to pull back from that 24/7 work schedule, because that's not healthy, and go back to our kids are doing school from 8 to 3 or 8 to 12 or whatever the model is. Get whatever homework or assignments done and be done. Don't be working on it at 11:59 at night. Or one of the things I hate is that some of our educators will say, oh, we'll do 11:59 at night. And so a teenager might think that they need to be working at 11:30, and that's not really healthy. So we have to set schedules that are healthy for our kids, and it's up to the adults to make sure that we're minding our children to take breaks and to go outside and to breathe, you know. It's important to do that.
Yeah, that is. It really is important. You know what you said about headaches really struck a chord with me, because I've been experiencing quite a few headaches of my own, and you know it's funny. I do lift up my laptop when I'm on camera. You know, because at our age we start to get these things around our neck when we're looking downward, and I don't want to do that. But I'm gonna try that, keeping that laptop elevated a little bit higher throughout the course of the day, and see if that helps my neck and my headaches. So Renee, have you been talking to parents? What are you hearing from parents as we're getting into the school year? What are some of the challenges that parents are facing?
I think there's a lot of Zoom fatigue. I think when parents have multiple kids, it's really hard to set up. I mean, I imagine, like I have a friend who's got 8 children, and I can't even imagine having 8 devices plus 2 parent devices simultaneously happening at once. And
well, what kind of bandwidth do they have? Sheesh.
They actually, this family moved away from all the traditional schools and is homeschooling this year, and I think it's literally due to the fact I don't even know how you would deal with bandwidth with that many people. You know what I mean? And so I think right now parents are very stressed. You know, you had mentioned how a lot of us are, you know, a lot of people are living on one income or no income right now. You know, they're hoping EDDs get extended. There's just so much going on politically. There's a lot going on with racial tension. There's so much going on right now. Those are all opportunities, though. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound negative, but there's so much going on right now that I think we really need to be a place where we can listen to parents. What I've found over the years, Matt, and I think you'll probably agree, you know, a lot of times when you're an administrator and you sit down to meet with parents, they're not necessarily looking for you to have a solution. They want to talk to somebody. They want to run stuff by somebody and kind of, you know, and so I really think right now that teachers have done a stellar job being accessible for parents. I believe that school administrators have done a very good job being accessible. I think they will need to continue to do that. I want to encourage parents to feel comfortable contacting your child's school or schools, depending on where they're at. And also, if any time you find that your family or your child is struggling, reach out and don't let them continue to struggle. I had a day a couple weeks ago where one of my kids, literally in the middle of the day, came out, and I was in the middle of a Zoom call. I was leading a statewide meeting, and he comes in and says, "I'm done." And I said, "Okay, it looks like I need to get off this call right away." Fortunately, I had some other colleagues that were facilitating also, so they took over. But I stepped out, and I said, "What's going on?" And my child was crying. He said, "I'm done. I can't do it anymore today." And I said, "Okay, did you already tell your teachers?" And he goes, "I've started to write the one that I'm in class with right now." And I said, "Great. Do you want me to help you with that, or do you want to write her?" And he goes, "I'm going to write her quickly, but can you write her more in depth?" And I said, "Great. What are we going to do right now? Because if you need to step away, we need to step away." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm going downstairs. I'm going to make some cookies. I'm going to make some cookies till I feel better." And so I was like, "No problem. Let me just shoot a quick email, get the oven heated." And as he's downstairs and the oven's heating, Matt, I'm literally like shooting an email to the 2 teachers. I've never met them before. It's a brand new school, brand new district, the whole shebang. I CC this counselor, the principal, and the assistant principal, and I just say, "Here's what's going on. My kid just maxed. And today, this afternoon, is the first day he's starting College of the Canyons and dual enrollment. So he's maxed at 11. So I need him to be able to go to college at 2. And so we're going to take a couple hours off right now, so that way he'll be back at 2. And Matt, here's the most beautiful thing, and I can't even not get emotional talking about it. Within minutes, I had a response from all 5 of the people I wrote.
Oh, wow.
So 2 teachers, a counselor, the principal, and the assistant principal. And the message was so loud and clear from every single one of them. We are so proud of your son for knowing that he needed to step back and take a break right now.
That's great.
Give him all the time he needs. Let us know what we can do to help him. Don't worry, we'll catch him up with anything he missed in class. And we're so proud of him for taking care of himself. Now, Matt, that's not what would have happened before COVID. I'm sorry, that's not what would have happened. You know, he would have been penalized. And so now we're living in this world where we're saying, okay, this child reached his max. The parent is reaching out saying, we've reached the max.
Mm-hmm.
And instantly the school responds and says, you are okay. Do what you need to do. They showed grace, they showed kindness, they showed commitment, and they showed stellar communication.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping I don't have to reach out anymore for those emergencies, you know. But if I do, or if my son does, it's safe.
Yeah.
And so I think parents need to know, if you're struggling, it's safe to talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my email's all over the place. You can put my email up. I'm happy to talk to parents. I don't know all the answers, but I'm happy to be a sounding board and to brainstorm together and to try and figure out what the parent needs to feel better and what their child needs to feel better. But we all have to come together right now.
There's so much beauty in what you just shared, Renee. First of all, that grace that you talk about, we're in a period where I do think the world is learning to have a little bit more grace with each other, especially in the educational world. You know, I had the pleasure to interview, you know, at iLead, our foundation is project-based learning. I had the pleasure to interview a few weeks back Tom Markham, who's been pioneering the world of project-based learning for the last 30 years. And I said, Tom, how do we do project-based learning in a distance learning model? And his answer was, Matt, nobody's an expert anymore. Let's find out together.
Yep.
And so I think,
love it.
I think that's what teachers are realizing, administrators are realizing, and parents are starting to get that we're getting it as well, and that we can just be patient with each other. The other beautiful thing that I see is that your son felt, I guess the word is empowered enough to self-regulate, to be exhausted, to be done, and pull back, because, you know, there's so many of us that would say, gosh, I'm done. I just don't think I can do this anymore, but I'm in the middle of history class. What am I going to do? And I think that also comes from the modeling of, please forgive me for maybe sounding like I'm pandering a little bit, your son's mother, who did the same thing. It's sitting in a meeting, a statewide meeting, how many people would have said, gosh, I'd love to help take care of your son, but I'm in this really important work meeting right now. But you did the same thing he did. Oh, we've got something going on. I'm pulling the plug. I'm out of here. And that was just beautiful modeling. As parents, we need to give our kids that permission, and we need to know our kids, right? We need to know when they're being a little bit whiny, and check them there, but then also give them that empowerment and that he can advocate for himself. That is just so beautiful. Renee, I want to talk about teachers as well, because I know there are a lot of teachers that listen to us on Fridays, and I know whenever we have you on, teachers around the valley tune in. I can't forget about them, but we do need to take a quick commercial break. All right, can you hang with us for just a few more minutes and come back?
Absolutely. I'm looking at our chat box right now, too. We have some good amount of people talking. So if anybody else wants to have any questions or anything, let us know.
Absolutely. That's on Facebook Live. So if you're not on Facebook, jump on and you can throw some comments or questions for Renee in there. Like I said, we're going to take that quick commercial break. We will be right back. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Every 10 middle school students and 1 out of every 4 high school students report using e-cigarettes. The city of Santa Clarita invites you to discuss this growing issue at the next virtual parent resource symposium. It's called Teen Vaping, the Story of Toxic Smoke, and it's coming up Wednesday, September 23rd at 6 p.m. Hear from a panel of experts on the dangers of vaping and take the opportunity to ask questions, make comments, and help tackle this issue. Learn more at dfynscv.com/parent-engagement.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
The coronavirus has put us in a position of creating a new normal. Family Law at Home understands. Their goal is to meet you in the safest place possible, and these days that might be in your own home in a virtual meeting. Family Law at Home will provide you with immediate advice on your family law matters, such as divorce cases, child custody disputes, and domestic violence. It's as easy as going to FamilyLawAtHome.com. You'll choose your own consultation date and be in immediate contact with one of their esteemed attorneys. Family Law at Home handles the legal aspect while you and your family navigate the new chapter in your lives. Go to FamilyLawAtHome.com.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLead Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLeadAguaDulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley. Renee Marshall joins me today. Renee is an educational expert, consultant, and community leader. You know, Renee, we've talked about our kids, our students, and some things that they can do to help make the distance learning experience a little bit easier on them. You talked about not only what parents can do, but what parents really need to do to better support their kids, to take care of themselves. But let's talk about our teachers out there, because you know they're no less human than any of their students or their families. So I know you talk to a lot of teachers all the time. How are teachers doing during this time?
You know, it depends on who you're talking to. Some of them are really excelling and excited about the challenge, and others are, you know, it's like their whole world is completely flipped because there's certain, we call them best practices in education, and so it's very tricky to engage in best practices virtually when you're used to doing it face-to-face. So I think kind of like everybody else, people are in a variety of different stages right now, but no matter if a teacher feels like they're excelling or feels like they're struggling, we need to celebrate teachers right now.
Yes.
We need to celebrate them. I was so glad being involved in the Santa Clarita Valley Education Foundation. I hope you've seen across town, we have put posters all over that say, you know, our Santa Clarita teachers can do virtually everything. We love our teachers. I mean, we're trying to get the word out physically by putting posters throughout our town. Another thing that was done also through the foundation, but I've seen other groups do this as well, is, you know, creating a video saying, here's the different people in our community that support you. We are here to support you. Another thing to do right now, too, is sending cards or dropping something off at a school site. A lot of our teachers are popping into their schools, or some of them are there daily. And so, you know, or email a Starbucks gift card for $5. That would thrill a teacher right now. Just having, or anything, you know, an email and a message saying, you matter. You're making a difference. we appreciate all you're doing. I mean, we need to do anything we can to support students, to support everybody actually right now, but especially our teachers.
Yeah.
I know through the Santa Clarita Valley Education Foundation last week, we gave out over 400 mini grants to local Santa Clarita teachers that were 100% related to distance learning. So we gave out document cameras, green screens, halo lights. We also gave out sets of 30 postcards with 30 stamps if any teachers wanted to write cards to their students. I mean, we need every organization, every individual parent has to commit to celebrating our teachers right now because they are trying so hard. They're trying so hard. And for our teachers, we need our teachers we need them to have the mantra of progress, not perfection.
Yes.
Because I'm seeing some of my friends and colleagues working 24 hours a day right now, and they're getting exhausted. And here's something that we're not considering. We need to keep our teachers healthy because we don't have a substitute teacher workforce anymore, you guys. So when teachers get sick, it's not like there's somebody who's going to just step in and take over like it would in a traditional room. So,
and didn't we have a teacher shortage before this whole thing started?
Oh, yes, Matt. I was actually talking to Department of Education about this recently. So, yes.
And so if we're burning our teachers out and pushing them into new careers and retirement and things like that, boy, you talk about, cutting off your nose to spite your face. That's just going to push us into deeper crisis. Gosh.
We're going to be, I literally wrote about how recently in a white paper about how the biggest teacher shortage of all time in California is literally on the horizon right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you think it's rough for your kids right now, Renee, I remember the days at the beginning of my career when California shifted to the whole 20-1 in K through 3, and we were literally scraping the bottom of the barrel for teachers, and if you had a pulse and a teaching credential, you had a job and a good job. So we don't want to get back to...
A credential? What are you talking about? If you had a pulse, you had a bachelor's degree.
That's right. A pulse and a degree, yeah.
You were teaching. You didn't need that credential because we'll teach you later how to be a teacher. I don't know. So we don't want to get to that again.
Right.
That was not the model. We can't put legislation into effect until we have the system prepared for the legislation. You know what I mean? That was an example of the politics happening before the systems were able to catch up.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We do need to take care of them. Parents, I know you're exhausted, and I know that you are not only parent and professional, but you've also become that part-time teacher's aide, and you've also become a psychologist, and you're doing so much for your kids. But like Renee said, it doesn't take much. A $5 gift card, a little note, I saw a teacher friend post the other day a picture that her kindergarten student had drawn of her while she was on Zoom, and it meant the world to her. This is forgive the metaphor, but this is like crack for teachers. We didn't get into this career.
I was going to say it's like gold.
Yes.
Like something like that right now, Matt, would be like gold as an educator to tangibly get something written by a child or a teenager or something like that. Here's a simple thing we can do, you guys. It's Labor Day weekend. How about as parents, we don't email the teachers starting at 4 o'clock today until Tuesday morning.
Oh.
We can write down our questions and wait.
But what if I wanted to write an email and say thank you?
Oh, that's totally different.
Okay.
You know what? What if we as a community this weekend spread the word to get thank yous to our teachers right now?
I love that.
You know what I mean? Let's do that. And then let's start thinking about an 8 to 5 work schedule. If we email a teacher or we send a remind message or respond to a remind message at 7 o'clock, if you don't hear the next day, just assume that that's human.
Yeah.
It's human to work an 8 to 5 day. It's not human to work 24/7. And most importantly, it's not sustainable. And we need healthy limits. And especially for our children, our teenagers, our teachers, and ourselves. It goes across the board.
So advocate for yourself and take care of others. That is so important. Have you got any final tips for our teachers working in the virtual classroom? Anything else that they can do to take care of themselves? Or maybe you got a tech tip that just helps them step their game up and make their classroom a little bit better.
I think it's important to be authentic to who you are. I think when things come down that you disagree with from administration or from our government or our leaders, I think it's okay to say something. Just recently, we had some attendance paperwork come down from the state, and it's now going to turn attendance for each teacher into like a 30-minute to 1 hour thing each day. And if you're looking at junior high and high school teachers, you're probably talking about a 2-hour window of them working on recording attendance.
Just taking attendance. Think about that.
Of time right now. That is not a good use of time. And so here's the best thing. I had somebody make a comment online, and I said, hey, why don't you reach out to the Department of Ed? And then a colleague who I've known for over 20 years was like, Renee, they're not going to listen to us, which just like fueled my fire, because I'm like, guess what? I'm meeting with Department of Ed in like 2 weeks. So guess what's one of the things on my agenda? We're going to, and hopefully it'll be dealt with already by then. But I know later this month I've got a spot to talk to some policymakers. So why wouldn't I move forward and say, man, those papers you sent out are not working for everybody. Revise them, because we need to make it a tool. These need to be tools. They can't be additional stressors, And so say something. I think that's really important. And also, know your teacher community right now, talk to your friends, listen to each other, and make sure that as teachers we're supporting each other as an education community.
You're absolutely right, Renee. We really appreciate the time and just the gold that you've been spinning for us today. We really appreciate it. That unfortunately is it. We've got to go. That's all the time we have for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to today's guest, Robert Reyes, General Manager at Reyes Winery. Again, Renee Marshall, educational expert and community leader. Thank you to engineer Patty Swayka and producer Luke, standing in for producer Sarah today. Thanks, Luke. You did a great job. I am your host, Matt Watson. Please join me again next Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. This is SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.